Yeah, very good morning, all of you. Let's start data type details of data type. In last lecture, we'll discuss about the int data type. There are four ways to represent the integer data type. In that, we discuss about decimal number, binary number, octal number, and hexadecimal. By using these four ways, we can represent the integer number. So in the decimal number, the base is 10. In binary number, the base is 2. In octal number, base is 8. And in hexadecimal number, the base is 16. Okay. So we already discussed about the three function. So we can easily convert the decimal number into binary. So by using bin function, bin round bracket. So if we have decimal number, then we can convert it into binary. If you have decimal number, then we can easily convert it into octal number by using OCT function. Oct. And if you want to convert the decimal number into hexadecimal number, then we use the hex number. Okay. So such a type of things we already discussed in the last section. So now today, after the int, there is a data type called as a float. We'll discuss about the float. A float is nothing but a fractional number. If you want to represent the fractional number that contains some points, then we will use the float. We will check how we will store into the variable f is equals to, assume that f is equals to 1234.20. So that will be a fractional number and that will be stored into variable. And we already discussed about the different kinds of function, predefined function called as a print function, which is used to print, type function which is used to identify what type of data is, and third one is a id function. So like that we can use we can check whether the given function is a fractional float or not. But there is a problem while using int data type. There are four ways to represent the integer data type, but in fractional there is no such a thing available. So floats are only floating values, not for any other like binary, octal, hexadecimal. Okay. So that means what? The fraction value cannot be converted into binary number, octal number, or hexadecimal. But majorly, when I do the programming, when I do developing the applications also, the majorly float is used for the exponential. We cannot say that like, but majorly we can use for the exponential, but we can use for the fractional numbers. For example, if you want to deal with some addition, subtraction by using a fractional, we can do it. Majorly used in the exponential. Exponential मतलब क्या होता है? A to the power something like 1.24 e. When we use that, the meaning of that 1.24 multiplied by e to the power something 5 2 whatever it may be. If it is a positive power, then we will multiply. If it is a negative power, then we will divide it. So by using that, we can also use it. In future, we also deal with that exponential number very well. So for that, just majorly understand what is a fractional. So let's do the practical. So in that, you will get the idea. Command prompt. We can use the command prompt also, or we can use Ideality tool. So among that, those who wants to use, you can use. So I will increase the font size so you can easily visible, be easily visible. Technical programming. Here I use Python. Here I am declaring the variable x. In last section, we also discussed about the rules of declaration of variable identifier called as identifier. In that, we discuss how to declare a variable. We can use a small a to small z, capital A to capital Z. We can use digits, underscore. We cannot use any special symbol and punctuation. Okay. So here these variables are case sensitive. So here I am using x is equals to 10.5. So this value is a fractional. If you want to print value, then we'll use a print in round bracket x. The value will be printed. If you want to identify uh, what type of data is, then just use type round bracket x. We get the class as. If you want to check the ID of that given data type, then use ID of x. This one is a unique ID is मतलब address of that variable. Unique address of that variable. Okay. So ये तो command prompt से होगा. If you want to perform a program by using the Notepad++ or any other editor is available, edit plus is there or notepad is there, so you can do that program. See, while doing the programming, make a note on that कि कुछ प्रोग्राम हम कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट पे करने के बाद में डिफरेंट वे से करना पड़ता है. while doing it on notepad or any editor, we need to add some additional things. Okay, for example, here I am directly using the type function, type round bracket ex, and it will get the output class float. But same thing when we perform the same operation by using notepad, it will be executed, but it does not show the output. Why? Because we are not using any print function. So like that's why I'm saying ki while doing the program on prompt and while doing the program on the notepad plus plus or any other application is different thing. Make a note of. Okay. So for example, I will show you the difference. Here I have a notepad. That I will save the program. Save. We'll save it into PP programs, and here I will write fdemo float demo dot py. Use double quote. This is the standard way. आप directly use कर सकते हो. Otherwise यहाँ से Python select कर सकते हो. So fdemo.py will be saved. So here I am using x is equals to dot py. Now, if you want to print this value, we need to use print function. Print of x. If you want to identify what type of data is, we need to use type function in count function. We use the variable name, but it will not display it in the console. Make a note of that. ये value display नहीं करेगा. What is the reason behind that? Because particular print function is used to display the message, but right now I'm not using a print function. That means we need to use function within function. ये टाइप को हमें फंक्शन के अंदर लिखना पड़ेगा. दैट मींस इसका जो आउटपुट आएगा दैट विल बी प्रिंटेड. ओके, सो जस्ट सेव इट एंड ट्राई टू एग्जीक्यूट दैट प्रोग्राम. एग्जीक्यूट दैट प्रोग्राम. The name of our program is a float demo. See, we get only 10.5. We get only 10.5. What about this type function? Does that type function is executed? Yes, it will be executed. But what is the error? We don't have any error, but the value is not shown. Why? Because here we need to use a print function. We need to use a print function. Now we can view. See, class. Similarly, like for ID, we can also use print function, and inside that I will use ID inner function, and inside I will provide the name of variable. Now, just see, n.5 is a value, type is float, and the ID is something 10 to 12 digits. Okay. अब इसमें इंटरव्यू में कैसा क्वेश्चन आता है? Can we use double data type in Python? Justify the answer. क्यों नहीं यूज कर सकते? What is the difference between float and what is the difference between double? ये इंटरव्यू में क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. So we need to specify the answer is size. Okay. So when we use the data type float and double in other languages like Java, C++, so there was a limitation of size, but in Python there is no limitation of size. Okay. For example, if we have a particular value with प्रिसीजन साइज 6, डॉट के बाद में जो वैल्यू आने वाले हैं 6 एंड 12 होते हैं। सो 6 वैल्यूज के साथ में डील करना है, देन वी विल यूज फ्लोट, एंड 12 वैल्यू के साथ में डील करना है, देन वी विल यूज डबल। दैट मीन्स इट विल डिपेंड ऑन द साइज। ओके, बट इन पाइथन देयर इज नो restriction of size. Okay, for example, say we don't have any restriction, we can save any value, save it, right, execute that. Yeah, so वैल्यू उसने कंसिडर क्या किया है, 10.6 कंसिडर किया है डिस्प्ले करने की जगह, बट द वैल्यू इज द सेम। ओके, so for example, see there is no restriction of values. So for example, I save this value, so we get that value. See, we get that value. There is no restriction of in the Python. So ये आंसर आप स्पेसिफाई कर सकते हैं। That's why we cannot able to use a double data type, because in float there is a no restriction. Float के अंदर restriction नहीं। So this is about what float data type. Okay. So in the another section I have given that also. So when we trying to use binary, octal, we get the error. We get the error. For example, what? See. See, x is equals to, we all know that 0 is the starting value, b stands for binary, and here I'm trying to use 10 dot, so we get the error, invalid syntax. Okay, that means what? We cannot able to use binary, octal, हम use भी नहीं कर सकते, and we cannot able to store also. Okay, for example, see x is equals to 10.5, and I'm not able to use x is equals to 10.5. I'm not able to convert that into binary also. Binary of x. See, we get the error. So x is a variable whose value is a 10.5. X is a variable whose value is a 10.5. That means it is a fractional value. And if it is a fractional, then we cannot able to convert it. Okay. So see difference. X is equals to 10. Now I am trying to convert the x. Now the number is given, number is converted. Why? Because the integer is there. Why? Because integer is there. Okay, अगर fractional number आता है तो वो convert नहीं करेगा. Make a note of that. Octal convert करेगा क्या? नहीं. Whether it is a octal, whether it is a hex, hexadecimal, कुछ भी रहने दो, करेगा नहीं. That means the difference between integer and the difference between float is what? Float cannot convert into binary, octal, and decimal, whereas integer can be converted into float. Integer can be converted into binary, octal, and hexadecimal. Make a note of that. This is about what? This is about. Uh, this is about what? Float, fractional number. Now, if you want to use a fractional number, see, by using this, we can check the fraction number, exponential number, sorry. So exponential is allowed in the float. So just I will clear the screen so you will get clear again. Okay. So check out here, I will use a Python. And in that section, I am declaring one variable x is equals to 1. E stands for exponential to the power 2. One e to the power 2. That means what? 1 multiplied by 10 to the square, 10 square. 1 multiplied by 10 to the power multiplied into 10 to the power 2. Okay, 10 square कितना होता है 100 होता है, so we get the value as 100. So when we print that, we get the output as. Okay, so like reverse order करना है तो 1 e to the power minus 2 print x, we get the value 0.0. We get the value 0.0. So similarly we can do like that stuff, 2 e to the power 2. Okay, so that means 2 multiplied by 10 square. 10 square कितना होता है 100. 100 multiplied by 2, 200. We get the value as a 2. So that means what, simply we हमें कुछ ज़्यादा परफॉर्म नहीं करना है, but make a note of that, we can use exponential. We can use exponential in float. Fractional के अंदर हम exponential number use कर सकते हैं. Make a note of it. Okay. So this is about what, float. Let's discuss about another data type. And did you have any what we say, any question regarding that? If you have any question, let me know about. We'll discuss about that. If no, we'll start another bit. So this one is a complex data type. Flow data type we discuss, and data type we discuss, and after that complex data type. See, if you want to discuss the complex data type, we need to understand the few things regarding the complex data type. So assume that, so the structure of complex data type. So this one is a complex data type. Okay. The structure of the data type is real number plus imaginary number, okay, into इमेजिनरी नंबर के साथ में मल्टीप्लिकेशन होता है स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ -1. So like that a complex number का structure होता है. So like this we can use the real number. Scientific के लिए complex number use किया जाता है. We can do the another operations by learning this Python. But right now, but we need to understand that what is a complex data type. Okay. So for example, 2 plus 3j. Okay. So in that, what is the value of 2? 2 is nothing but real number. What is a 3? 3 is nothing but imaginary number. What about j? J is a square root of -1. The value of square root is always same. The square root of -1. So इसकी value कभी भी change नहीं होती. So what when we think about that, the real number and imaginary number. So in that case, j is mandatory in Python. We cannot use like this stuff. 2 plus 3i. We cannot able. It will generate an error. Why? Because it specifically used the j while using a complex number. J compulsory. बाकी की वैल्यू कितने भी change हो सकते हैं. Okay. Even we can use fractional numbers also. Okay. So इसके rules होते हैं. We'll discuss about that. Even we use the real number fractional 10.5 3 plus 2j, like that stuff we can use. But make a note of that. The first part is always real and second part is always imaginary. The value of j is square root of minus. Okay. So this is a code of that. So x is equals to 2 plus 3j. Okay. When we print that, we'll get the value. If you want to identify the type C, here I'm giving the type of x. So let's do that. Python. X is equals to 2 plus 3j. Identify the type. So type of, the type of x is a complex. So when we print x, we get the value 2 plus 3. So here, if you want to print the real number, then x dot just print real. We get the value of real. X dot real. So what is the real value? We get the 2. So x dot image. X dot image. we get the image number. X dot image name, we get the image. So like that stuff we can do. This is about what? This is about complex number. We can use a complex number as a fraction number also. See, यहाँ 1.2, 3.2, यहाँ मैंने integer तो use किया है, but we can use fraction number also. So we can perform the operation. So imaginary part plus reality part. So here is not plus, it is a multiplication number, square root of minus 1. Not plus, it is a square root of minus 1. So x dot real and x dot image, we get the value. So this is about what? Complex data type. After that, fourth data type is bool. Bool stands for boolean value. So we can say that, definitely we can say that if you perform the bool data type, we get the value either true, either false. दोनों में से ही कोई आ सकती है. So true कब आएगी? If the condition is satisfied. False कब आ जाएगी? If condition is not satisfied. What is the meaning of 1 and 0? True is equals to 1, false is equals to 0. It will accept only true and false. First letter must be capital. ये rule बहुत अच्छा है. First letter must be capital. अगर आप ये भूल जाते हो, because ये class है, which is already defined. Okay. तो ये class है. So इसका first letter capital ही. Okay. So let's do the practicals of float. Exit. Okay. Here we enter Python. X is equals to 2. A capital first letter and print of x. So we get the value as a. See, we get the value as a x is equals to false. अभी मैं capital letter नहीं लिख रहा हूँ. So we get the error. We get the error. So here we need to use x is equals to false. First letter is capital. Now check out. We get the value. What is the type? Just if you want to check the type of x, so we get the type of x. Type of x is a bool. See, class is bool. Bool stands for boolean. Okay. अभी इसमें ना थोड़ा सा एडिशनल ये भी कहा जाता है कि ट्रू मीन्स 1 एंड फॉल्स मीन्स 0. ओके. सो अभी ये पता कैसे चलेगा आपको? सो x इज इक्वल्स टू ट्रू प्लस x is equals to true plus 2. It means 1 plus 1, we get the value as 2. Print x, we get the value as 2. So when we perform the addition, we get the output as true. What does it mean? Simply, मुझे यही कहना है कि its mean true is 1 and false is 0. Okay. So like x is equals to true minus false. 1 minus 0, 1. See, we get the output as 1. So like that, आपको पता होने की. Just okay. Exit it, and we'll discuss about the last data type. So the last data type is string. Last data type is string. We can represent the string in different manner in Java, like, or in other languages. So for example, if you want to store a string, we can use single quote open, single quote close, or we can use double quote open, double quote close. Okay, so it is a not there is a no restriction in that section. So we can use a smaller single quote option also, and we can use double quote option also. Okay, so there is a no restriction, and also we can use triple quote also. Especially triple quote is used for a special reason. Discuss about that. Like that also we can keep perform while doing the operation with string. Okay. So Let's do the practical so you will get the idea. For example, x is equals to I want to store our college name, then I can use a single quote. Okay. Here I can use, and here I will write PES College Engineering. Even if you want to use a double quote, then you can use same PES College. There is no difference. No? And if you want to highlight some points, then we will use triple quote. Okay, for example, like that, x is equals. Take the PES College. If you want to highlight this PES, that means that message will be displayed on the with double quote. डबल कोट के साथ में ही वैल्यू डिस्प्ले हो जाएगी ये जस्ट आपको पता होना चाहिए दैट्स व्हाई कीवर्ड सो लेट्स डू द प्रैक्टिकल लेट्स डू द प्रैक्टिकल so here I'm using a Python x is equals to here I'm using a single quote PES see this we get the message small case it is a cases we get the message PES College of Engineering again we will store x is equals to in double quote same message will be so PESCOE we get the message we get PESCOE want to use a triple quote we can also use a triple PESCOE in that I want to highlight this college so I will use double quote open and double quote get that x we get the PES college के जगह double quote आ गया so that's why we use simply if you want to check the type then we use the type of x so the class is str stands for string okay so that means what we discuss about the five different kinds of fundamental data types okay among the 14 data types the 14 data types we discuss about the first int later on discuss about the float later on we discuss about complex later on discuss about the bull data type that means boolean either true or false and last we discuss about the string data so these data types are majorly used these data types are the fundamental data types of programming languages okay so we need to take care of that so these are the very useful data types okay so now afterwards we'll discuss about the slice operator and after that we'll close the session today itself and you need to do the practice of this fundamental data type from day after tomorrow we'll start the another data types like byte array set frozen set dict stands for dictionary range okay so we'll discuss about that and we'll start the programming on that so we'll understand only basic concept first of all so we'll discuss detail आगे आगे जैसे जैसे जाते हैं वैसे discuss now we'll discuss about the slice operator just 1 minute Let's discuss about the slice operator. See, slice operator is there. So while using the slice, that means the if I have any string, that string, or if I have anything string, that will be divided into different parts. So that's why we use the slice operator. So here I given the picture of slice operator. See, so in that there is a cake, and the cake is divided into different kinds of slices. So while using the slice operator, we have two different options. First one is the negative index and positive index and negative index. So positive index is always run from the left to right, okay, and negative index always run from the right to left, okay. So where we can perform the slice operator operations? This is a major question. It can perform on the different kinds of string, okay. So for example, say, so here I want to use a slice operator. In that section, there are two different indexes. The first index is positive. Second one is negative. We all know that what is an index. Index will always start with zero. Okay. So for example, assume that I have a string called as a ES. Okay. So I have this. So positive index यहाँ से start होता है. This one is a positive, and this one is negative. So positive index from left to right, negative index right to left. Okay, here I will write L to R. Left to right. Negative will start from right. बहुत यूजफुल कॉन्सेप्ट है स्लाइस ऑपरेटर ये बहुत जगह पे यूज भी आता है ओके सो अब आइडेंटिफाई कैसे करना है मेक अ नोट ऑफ दैट सो फर्स्ट बीट इज ऑलवेज जीरो ये फर्स्ट जो होता है ये ऑलवेज जीरो होता है ओके that I will remove this spaces because it will be treat spaces as alphabet also okay so how it will work slice operator will work with starting number and ending number okay so here is an option slice operator can be worked with positive number and negative number if you want to print only one thing then it will be shown for example assume that this string is x and now we need to perform the operation okay so x of 1 so it will print if it will print the value like e why because the starting number is 0 later on 1 later on 2 later on 3 4 5 okay so like if you want to print x of 0 then it will print just I will show you the demo and after that I will perform the practical. It will print for positive and for negative x of negative के लिए 0 नहीं होता है make a note of that so it will print last number as e print last number as e सभी slice operator perform and we use -4 the value as s -1 -2 -3 and -4 let's do the practical so you get the idea and in that section I will use Ideality tool I will close the terminal open that like Python this is a Python right click and open file location this one is Ideality tool okay click on that Ideality tool so we get the Ideality tool here okay so here I will store x is equals to single quote I will use what is the print value of PESC so output is x of 0 x of 0 see we get the output as P, x of 0. If you want to use x of 4, see, we get the O, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, if you want to use x of minus 1, we get the last value, E. Okay, so that means slice operator can be worked with single values also. If you want to use another type, इसका एक single values के साथ में होगा. Second, we can use slice. Just I will use operator with start value and value. इसके साथ में भी values print. For example, assume that the x is your string, so x of 0 colon 4. Start value and end value. ये positive index के लिए. -1 colon minus ये reverse order में display करें. Let's do that practical. So x of starting number is 0 colon last number is a 4. See, we get the PESC. अगर थोड़ा सा उसमें चेंज करते हैं हम, x of starting number is a 0 colon last number is a 8. We get all values PESC हुई, जितने भी values है वो दिखाई देगा. So, जैसे जैसे चेंजेस करते हो वैसे. So for example, अगर आप ओनली स्टार्ट वैल्यू देते हो 0 एंड कोलन करके एंड वैल्यू नहीं देते हो, तो ऑटोमेटिकली इट विल बी सिलेक्ट द एंड वैल्यू. ऑटोमेटिकली इट विल बी सिलेक्ट द एंड वैल्यू. सिमिलरली एक्स ऑफ स्टार्ट वैल्यू नहीं देते हो, एंडिंग वैल्यू 6 देते हो, 3 और 3 6, yeah. So it will print again same thing. Okay, so that means starting value नहीं देते हो तो it will be treat starting value as 0, और ending value नहीं देते तो it will be treat the ending value of string जो भी है वो दिखाई देगी. So x of -1 just 1 minute, x of negative a negative value. नेगेटिव के लिए वर्क नहीं होता है, रिवर्स ऑर्डर के लिए. So just 1 minute, I did that practical. Check for that. Just it will print one value. Okay, so like E is there only, -1 -2 x of value colon -4 2 ऐसा देना पड़ेगा. अब आ रहा है. Okay, -4. That means first value is lesser than second value. अगर फर्स्ट वैल्यू ग्रेटर हो गई, अभी -4 और -4 में ग्रेटेस्ट वैल्यू कौन सी है, -1 होगी, तो फर्स्ट वैल्यू स्मॉलर होना चाहिए, देन इट विल बी डिस्प्लेड. ओके, सो लाइक x of -6 that out PSC. Okay, so like that stuff we can do the practical. So this is the another way. And third last way is available, slice operator. In that section, slice the start value colon end value step. So in that way also we can use. Okay, for example, see x is equals to here I am using PESCOE. Using x is equals to start value is a 0 and value is something called as a 10 and step will be 2. So that means it will be print 0, after that it will be skipped for second, again it will be print S, it will skip for C, again it will be print O, it will skip for the E, and again it will be print empty space, it will skip for A. So like that, that means ये steps कहाँ से कहाँ जाने चाहिए, that will be specified. Okay, just use that command prompts. X is equals to in round bracket, I will use PES. We continuously I will use Aurangabad. We will get that right. X is equals to X starting value is a 0, ending value is a 10, as in that the step will be 2. See, we get the output. P आ गया, E skip हो गया, S आ गया, C skip हो गया, O आ गया, E skip हो गया, A आ गया, U skip हो गया, R आ गया. Okay, so that means what, ये skip के लिए steps के लिए यूज किया जाता है, और ये इवन नंबर और नंबर फाइंड आउट करने के लिए बहुत ही इजी वे से हम इजीली फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं बाय यूजिंग स्टेप मार्क्स. So it is not mandatory to use 2, we can use 4 also. Okay, see, so it is a steps only. Here I am using the value as 15, and so we get P starting second, third missing, fourth number will be print, second, third, fourth will be missing, fourth will be printed again, 1 2 3 missing, R will be printed. Okay, again A 1 2 3 will be missing, again A will be printed, like that. So this is about what slice operator, and it is very good in that. So by using a single operator, make a note of that, while learning the slice operator we need to take care of positive index and we need to take care of negative index, start and end, याद रखना है. So while using the negative index, must first value is always lesser than second value. So this is another way, by using slice operator we can use the first value and second value, and also we can use this third one, begin value, that means start value, end value, and the step. Okay, so this is about the lecture, today's lecture. So tomorrow we'll discuss about the few things, and after that we'll start the fundamental primary data, so secondary data types from tomorrow onwards. So if you have any query, let me know, we'll discuss about that. Afterward we'll close the session. Take the attendance. Does anyone have query regarding that? Ankita, are you there?
Sir. No, sir, no query.
Okay, no issue.
Yes,
Just
sir, I got.
okay, great. So just I will suggest, see, मैं पहले लेक्चर से दिन से बात कर रहा हूँ कि ये फंडामेंटल, अगर फंडामेंटल क्लियर होते हैं तो ही हम आगे का हाई लेवल जो है वो पढ़ सकते हैं. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी नीड टू डू द रेगुलर बेसिस प्रैक्टिस. आज मैंने जितने पढ़ा है ये आपको प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा, तो ही हम आगे जाके यूजफुल थिंग्स कर सकते हैं, अदरवाइज वी कांट. ओके, सो लाइक राइट नाउ दीज आर द वेरी बेसिक थिंग्स. इज देयर एनी नीड टू परफॉर्म द प्रैक्टिस? ऐसा लगेगा आपको, बट आपको प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा तो ही आपको नॉलेज मिलेगा, अदरवाइज नहीं. ओके, सो जैसे जैसे हम डेटा स्ट्रक्चर की तरफ बढ़ेंगे थोड़ा सा हेवीनेस बढ़ेगा, एंड वंस वी कंप्लीटेड द कोर पाइथन, देन एडवांस पाइथन के लिए तो कोर पाइथन कंपलसरी ही लगता है. वेल लर्निंग द एडवांस पाइथन, उसके बाद में हम डीजांगो के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, फिर वो लाइब्रेरीज, पैंडा लाइब्रेरीज एंड लाइक दैट स्टफ. फिर वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द अगेन HTML, सो HTML CSS के बारे में पढ़ना पड़ेगा, लाइक दैट. सो ये इंक्रीज वे में ही रहेगा, डिक्रीज वे में नहीं रहेगा. सो टेक केयर ऑफ दैट and just perform the practical daily basis. I will share this video.